Hello, guys. Welcome to Extra Talk right here on the Extra Time Sports Show. This is where we give you an in-depth analysis of games to be played, tactics, probable lineups, and the review of the big games to be played over the weekend. I am in a person of Kingsley. Grab yourself a bottle of water as I return from this short break. Welcome back from this short break. As I said earlier, I will be previewing the game between Manchester City and Arsenal, the Gunners. This game is actually a big game because it starts the battle of supremacy for this season. And then the other way where this game becomes a big game is where for 2 seasons now, Arsenal has been a thorn in the flesh for Manchester City, where they have been giving them a very close marking when it comes to the EPL. Last 2 seasons, it was only 5 points that separated them. And then last season, it was only 2 points that separated them. Now, the second reason whereby this game is a big game has to do with the head-to-head competition. In the last 5 games, Manchester City has won 2 games and Arsenal has won 1 game. That means that the percentage win isn't too wide between them. That makes this game a big game. Now, moving to the philosophy of both coaches, Mikel Arteta has actually worked with Pep Guardiola for so long, and then in a way is stealing, if that's the right word to use, in a way is stealing how Pep Guardiola actually approaches games. So with this philosophy of both coaches, you won't be getting so many differences between them, but then there are some slight 1 or 2 differences when it comes to both coaches. Now, I would like to start with Pep Guardiola. Pep Guardiola is a possessive type of a coach whereby his possession actually comes with passing the ball around his players. Now, Pep Guardiola also is a coach that rotates and moves his players when he gets into games. You won't find Manchester City or like a player of Manchester City being at a particular position to be receiving balls, but then you would find players of Manchester City rotating the balls among themselves or passing the balls among themselves to find spaces in the opponent's team. Now, Pep Guardiola for some seasons now also have been changing his tactics. Last season, Kevin De Bruyne was playing as a number 10 where he actually was in the middle part of the field. But then this season, he is still playing as a number 10, but then hugging the lines of the Manchester City team. Now, when it comes to Manchester City, because they used to pass the balls among themselves frequently and mostly, they usually set up whereby most of their defenders or probably their center backs gets closer to the center line because their center backs can't stay in their half whilst the other teammates are possessing the ball. And I would like to move to Mikel Arteta. Just as I said, they both worked together and then they have some similarities. Mikel Arteta is also a coach that usually possesses the ball, but then he does his possession and progresses the ball a little bit quicker as compared to Manchester City. Now, both coaches actually uses the flank side of the field because they have sharp attackers. Arsenal has a sharp attacker or attackers in presence of Saka and then Martinelli. So as Manchester City has sharp attackers in the presence of Doku and then Grealish. Now, both coaches also love to play with a deep line playmaker, whereby Manchester City's deep line playmaker is in the person of Rodri, and then Arteta's deep line playmaker is in the person of Thomas Partey. Again, this is kind of like a slight difference between Mikel Arteta and Pep Guardiola. Mikel Arteta would love to use a box-to-box midfielder, whereby his box-to-box midfielder would help the defense or connect the defense and then the attack, whereby Manchester City's Pep Guardiola would love to have a register in his team, whereby the register controls the game in the team, where this person is in a person of Rodri. So Rodri plays as a deep line playmaker, and that's the register job for Manchester City as well. Now, I would like to move to the probable lineups of both teams. On paper, Manchester City would be a 4-3-3 formation, but then on the field, they usually move in a 3-2-4-1 formation. So just as we know, Haaland will be the arrowhead, Grealish, Kevin De Bruyne, Silva, and then Savino as the front four. Rodri and Rico Lewis being their pivots, and then their three-back line will be Vardiol, Diaz, and Akanji. Ederson will definitely be in the post for them. And then moving on to Arsenal, the Gunners, they usually play in a 4-3-3 formation where Raya is in post, Timber, Gabriel, Saliba, and Ben White as their back four, Declan Rice, Partey, and Havertz as their midfielders, and Martinelli, Gabriel Jesus, and then Saka as their front three. Now, moving to the game itself. In as much as both of the teams usually love to keep the ball, Manchester City usually gets the high percentage rate of possession when they both meet. One thing we also have to look out for in the game is the fact that Arsenal are more direct when it comes to attacking as compared to Manchester City. This is the case whereby Arsenal can start the build-up from the back, give the ball to any of their center backs, and then with maybe 3 or 4 passes amongst their players, they get into the opponent's half of the field. Unlike Manchester City, they actually would also build up from the back, but then would have so many diagonal balls whereby they can have at least 20 passes before getting to the opponent's half. Again, there will be a battle between Gabriel, Saliba, and then Haaland. Reason being that sometimes when Manchester City are possessing the ball from the back and then it's not really going through, Ederson usually moves the ball in a long form trying to reach Haaland. We all know Haaland is very built and tall. Gabriel and Saliba would also have a very difficult work to do in this game. Now, the midfield battle will definitely be for Manchester City, in a sense that there is no way Thomas Partey, Declan Rice, and Kai Havertz will be able to match the midfield battle or the energy Kevin De Bruyne, Rodri, and then Gundogan probably, who will be starting. They can't match the energy of them. So definitely Manchester City is going to have the midfield battle for themselves. And one thing I would like to say is that Arsenal shouldn't be moving so much when Manchester City are passing the balls around, because Manchester City is a team that would like to find spaces in the opponent's defense. When it comes to the prediction of this game, because both teams have sharp attackers, I would urge those that will probably be on the Sporty app or the Betway app to either go for an over 2.5 goal ratio or both teams to score. This is Kingsley, and just as I said, I was going to bring you the preview between Manchester City and Arsenal, the Gunners. Make sure you like, subscribe, and leave a comment under the comment section, and we will surely get back to you. This is Extra Talk right here on the Extra Time Sports. I'll catch you. Bye.